My goal was to just make things as easy as possible for students, right? I want students to know the resources that they have available to them.
What's up, guys? My name is Asia, and I am sitting here with Tyler Mitchell, who is the creator of our newest Math Anxiety workshop. Well, what inspired your creation of the game? How you sorted it out? What you figured students would need to learn? So we'll get into that in a few seconds. Alrighty, so how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for joining us. Just go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, when you did attend ACC, and that kind of thing.
All right. So I attended ACC back in the spring of 2021. I took economics classes here. It was a very good experience for me. I was kind of in between going to University of Houston the first and second time. I was taking a break, trying to figure out what I was going to do. I had just stopped being a biology major, and I was on my way to becoming an economics major.
Yeah.
And that was quite a big change, but ACC kind of helped me take the classes that I needed to figure out, what I was going to do.
Yeah, that little transition period.
Right,
Okay,
right.
that's awesome.
And it was also here that I learned about the Learning Lab, and the ACC opportunity that I would have to become a tutor for economics and math, and the services that you offer your students here at ACC.
So to confirm, you are a math and economics tutor here in the Learning Lab. And how long have you been doing that?
So I've actually been doing that since the summer of 2022.
Okay, nice.
So I've been doing that for a little over a year now.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Thank you.
So my second question would be, actually, I wanted to ask, where are you from?
I attended high school in Oklahoma primarily. So my freshman through junior year, I went to a place called Edmond North High School in Oklahoma. I was actually born in this area, though. I grew up in Pearland, and I moved to Oklahoma, and then about 6 years ago, I moved back.
Okay, awesome.
So, yeah.
Sounds good. So a little bit of journey in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You told me a little bit earlier that your boss asked you to create this workshop for the student success workshops. And what was your first response? Were you like, okay, I'm excited about this? Or was it like, okay, let me go learn something?
So it was more like the second. So I was excited to be able to do a presentation, but I was a bit concerned because I didn't really know much about math anxiety,
Okay, Yeah.
So whenever I was, looking over what had been prepared for me, right, these slides, and I was trying to just go over and over and think, what can I add to this? And my goal was to just make things as easy as possible for students, right? I want students to know the resources that they have available to them so that they can reduce their math anxiety to a manageable level. That's what this is all about. You may not completely overcome your math anxiety, but as long as you can reduce it to a manageable level, you can succeed. And I was encouraged because even though I didn't really know the academics behind math anxiety, as a math tutor, I've seen math anxiety before, right? I've seen students who struggle with math anxiety. And not only did I have a chance to help them, but I also understood that even before this workshop was created, I've seen students overcome their math anxiety by, not avoiding their math, by working hard, right? That's something that is very important, and that's what I include all throughout this workshop is just you have to overcome the math avoidance if you want to break the cycle of math anxiety.
That makes complete sense. I definitely was a student who avoided
math
because of that anxiety. So that's honestly the best way to even tackle that, just from being around other people, someone who's a little bit experienced in math and things like so. That I'm really impressed with it. That's pretty cool.
And the thing is too, when you're discouraged, you want to avoid math, right? You don't want to be doing the math, right? But that's the thing. You have to change your attitude, and that's easier said than done. That's a process, and that process could include, reaching out to your resources and realizing, okay, this is how I do this. This is how I do this. The more you stop avoiding your math, the more you practice, the more things are going to start to make sense.
So would you say that you have let's start with the basics. Explain to me what the tutoring appointment looks like. Do they need to schedule with you ahead of time? Are you there just at a certain time and they can come and go as they please? How does that work?
I would definitely recommend appointments, because when you schedule with me ahead of time, you're more likely to like have my undivided attention. The problem with drop-ins is we often have a lot of people coming in at the same time. Now, you are welcome to drop in.
Yeah, of course.
Drop-ins are accepted if there's a tutor available. The problem is in the fall and in the spring, we're often very busy, and so your best bet is going to be the schedule, and you can schedule on Connex Ed. And
they can access through the ACC website.
Yes, that's correct. Through the pod, right?
Through the pod, of course. That's good. And then, so when they do schedule an appointment, are they able to like bring their homework or something that they're learning in class and like specialize on that?
Yes, that is correct. So actually, that's what I do most often.
Okay.
I help usually with people who are struggling on their homework or their quizzes.
Okay.
So typically we can help out with quizzes. But definitely, we can always help out with homework.
That's
and
awesome.
even actually, we have a lot of statistics students who come in and bring projects. So we help out with that too.
It sounds like you guys are a very needed, resource.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that students are actually taking advantage of that and like going to you guys and getting that help. So what is your personal relationship with math? Has it always come easy to you, or is it something that you really do have to work for since being, young in middle school and on up through high school and college?
I would say it depends on the kind of math.
Right.
I mean, I kind of liked algebra.
Okay.
I kind of liked calculus 1. But I actually did have some struggles with pre-calculus, with calculus 2, and with geometry in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like geometry very much.
Same here.
Even with my sisters right now, like I have sisters at home, they want me to help them with their math homework. They know I'm a math tutor. And I can help my sister with algebra 2 pretty well, but my other sister's in geometry, and it's a little bit harder sometimes because geometry, I never really quite understood it completely.
Yeah, that's understandable. For me, I think I'm kind of on the same thing, because when I was taking the pre-algebra or whatever it was called in college, the freshman year, I sucked at it so badly. But I actually ended up making an A in statistics.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, I think that math clicked a little bit easier for me. So
that's very
sense.
true. Yeah, different kinds of math are going to click differently for different people.
Yeah. So for you, when it comes to the geometry and things like that, basically you just had to put your studying forward. You had to make sure that you were actually taking the extra time to get into that. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, that's very good.
That's really cool. So we talked about how you got to even create the workshop, and now you guys have had one session. Have you had your first session, or is it that?
Yes, we have. So we actually have an online version of it, and we also have had an in-person session.
Okay.
And we plan on having more throughout the semester. You can find them. I believe it's the Math Success Workshop. On the ACC page.
So for the online session, you go through the pod, or can you find it?
Whenever you're on your pod, you're going to go to Campus Services. Then I believe it's Tutoring Learning Lab. Then you're going to scroll down to Math Workshops, I believe it is, and you should be able to find the link to the video under that.
And also, you can let your students know too that they can keep up with the workshop schedules and times on the social media pages, because I've created a little highlight where you can see what's going on throughout the week. So that's another resource for you guys to send them to.
Awesome, thank you.
With times. Yeah. From them being able to do an online session or in person, how did the in-person one go? Did you guys have a lot of good feedback, or how'd that go?
So the in-person session occurred in the summer, and there were not quite as many students here.
Okay.
We only had one student show up, but I think that she had a positive recession.
Okay, nice.
Excuse me, not recession. That's my economics coming out. Positive reception.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. That was a good one. So now, are you still a college student, or have you already graduated, and what are you doing now?
I am actually still a college student.
Okay, gotcha.
So I go to University of Houston on Tuesday and Thursday, and I take my classes, and I tutor here Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Nice. So what are your goals after you graduate and things like that? Do you want to become an instructor, college, or what's your goals for the economic field?
I'm not actually sure yet.
Okay.
One of the reasons that I chose economics is because there's a big diversity in what you can do with an economics degree.
Right.
Like there are journalists, there are analysts, there are consultants, and there are instructors, as you said.
That's awesome.
So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do just yet, but I'm looking into it.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like there's definitely a lot to choose from. That's pretty fun. I do want to play our little game.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 4 words, and then from those 4 words, you will be able to give me the first thing that comes to mind. If you can stick to one word, that'd be cool, but We'll see how it goes.
Sure.
So your first word is math.
Strategy.
Okay. Your second word is Pearland.
Home.
Okay. And then your third is University of Houston.
Magical piece of paper.
Okay.
That will get me a job.
Of course. And then your fourth question will be economics. Your fourth word will be economics.
Interesting.
Okay. Cool. That was pretty quick. That did pretty good. So is there anything that you would like us to know about the workshops or about the tutoring lab or anything like that?
Yeah, so I think it's very important for students to use the resources that they have available to them. And one resource example is your instructor, right? Here at ACC, the instructors are here for you. They're not really here for research, right? This isn't like a 4-year university. So the professors are here for you. And what that means is you can send them an email, right? As long as you do it the way that they say to in their syllabus, right? As long as you communicate with them the way that they say to. And you can often send a screenshot of the problem and they'll often, send back. And that's a great resource. Another resource is your peers, the peers that you have in your math class. Even right now, I'm taking a math class at the University of Houston that's kind of difficult for me. And I've reached out to my peers for help before. So that's definitely a resource that you can use. And of course, tutoring in the ACC Learning Lab or online via TutorMe. Which can be found in Blackboard.
So you guys do have like a pretty good focus on the anxiety and the preparation part.
Yes.
Versus you're here to learn how to do math good.
And you know what? That reminds me of something very important. You need an anxiety control plan when you go into the test. When you go into the test, you need to understand, I'm going to have a challenging problem, and that's okay. This isn't a jump scare like Friday the 13th, right? We knew that the challenging problem was going to be there, right?
Right.
So one anxiety control technique that I really like is focus breathing. Focus breathing is essentially where you breathe in, you hold for a little bit, and you breathe out slowly. And it's a slow process you can repeat about 4 times, and then you kind of look at the problem again from a refreshed standpoint. Another thing that's very important to mention, too, if you have a very difficult problem on the test, and it's a test where you don't have to answer it before moving on to the next question. Like if you can answer your questions out of order, do the ones you know how to do first.
Right.
Do the ones you know how to do first so that you can rack up points and then come back around and do the ones that are a little bit more difficult.
I love that advice. That sounds good. And I actually do like the deep breaths to like get that focus. Yeah, I love that. That is pretty awesome. Well, thank you very much, Tyler, for coming out here and joining us on the podcast. We look forward to seeing the outcomes of the future events, and I hope that you guys have a good time down in the Learning Lab this semester.
Thank you.
And it was great to meet you. So thank you
too.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening. To read more about this story, visit alvincollege.edu/news. And also don't forget to check out the Instagram page at Alvin College.